Hello, everyone. Welcome in right here. Fantasy Life on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you for the next couple of hours, breaking down everything that we saw in Week 16 and hopefully congratulating most of you, if not all of you, on making it to the Fantasy Football Championships. You know what to do. Send in those screenshots at KValenzuela17, at Adam Ronis over there on X. We're breaking it all down. Monday Night Football in the books. Okay, Adam, how you doing? Are you doing better today or worse today than what was going down yesterday?
Worse than yesterday.
What happened? What? How could it's worse? So how could it be worse? I thought you knew all the leagues that you were going to lose in.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was over in the GST. I was down I was up 13, and Jen Piacente had Jonathan Taylor in the 49ers defense, and it was a slow burn. Taylor wasn't doing anything. The Niners defense wasn't doing anything, but I lost that. Okay, that was expected. My home league, I had already lost this week. Devin Neal, Rashee Rice, Woody Marks, Luther Burden, Ricky Pearsall, Rashee Rice. Okay. All right, what are you going to do? And that league, 3 receivers and 2 flex spots. So it's a lot to replace. And I already have the awful Emeka Egbuka that I have to play. So whatever, you roll with it, you see what happens. So going into Sunday night, I'm down 12. My opponent has Mac Hollins, who catches 4 passes in the first quarter and finishes with 7 for 69, which is not a line we usually see from him. Okay, well, it's all right. On the other side, I have Travion Henderson. Okay, well, he goes down. He gets me 1 point. All right. I have George Kittle going into Monday night, down about 27. All right, it's not going to happen, right? It's come on. Is Kittle really going to get 27? He hasn't done it all year. Here goes Kittle. Catch after catch, a touchdown. That second play in the end zone, it was a tough play where he tried to one-hand it, but that would have been huge. All right, no problem. It's like 8 minutes left in the third quarter. All I need now is 2.1 from Kittle to win. So I need 2 catches or like a 12-yard catch, right? And I win. I see Kittle limp off. I'm like, no, please. Get the notification. Kittle is questionable to return. Then I'm watching the rest of the game, and I don't see Kittle out there. And I know it is over, and I lose by 2.
By the way, that's not me controlling the board.
Oh, I'll get to that. Who's controlling that in 1 second?
Producer Ani's on today.
I know that.
If no one can tell.
And I had a lot of other people, because I had put it out on Twitter, and a lot of other people were messaging, saying that, they lost by a yard, 0.86, and other people losing on the pick 6 that Rivers threw. So there were a lot of heartbreaks yesterday, but this was a gut punch, because I thought, there was probably no shot. And then you see Kittle and the way he's playing and the way this offense is not getting stopped. Indianapolis had no answer, and you're like, okay, I got this. And then you're sitting there and you go, all right, all I need is 2 points. And for him to leave the game like that kind of summed up the week, where I already had 5 players missing, and then the last 2 guys that I needed both get injured. And someone else had the same situation. I don't even know if they saw, because it wasn't a response to what I tweeted. They said, this happened to me, and they showed me their lineup, and they had Henderson and Kittle in the same scenario that I had.
Thing.
Where I believe they, just lost as well. So
absolutely brutal.
There's a lot of stories like that, but that's the worst. At least just rip off the Band-Aid. Instead, I had to be teased the entire night.
Yeah.
Had a glimmer of hope.
Yep.
And then Kittle gets hurt and does not return.
And then crushed. It was a high-scoring affair all around, really. I mean, that game last night, if you needed fantasy points, it's on both sides. Well, if you were one to start Alec Pierce, I guess. I don't know how many people did that. But on the 49ers side, Adam, you saw George Kittle go 7 for 115 and 1 touchdown. You thought this could be it. And now we don't know his status for this coming week either. So, well, it doesn't matter for you. But
yeah, and they don't play till Sunday night either. So, and this is one of those weeks that's really going to be tough, because you have the 3 games on Christmas, 2 on Saturday. So you might have to make decisions. Like, say, for example, you have Kittle and another tight end that's going Thursday or Saturday, and that's a Sunday night game. you might just have to play it safe, and we're not going to have a lot of information probably by Thursday.
No.
For
I
Kittle.
know that. So yeah, because the Saturday games, those injury reports, the first one is due today. So we at least get,
and that's not, that doesn't even
report.
tell us anything.
No, because we treat it like a Wednesday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you have to wait. That's why it's always important. You guys, please send in your start sit questions, but really be sure to pay attention. Our rankings are at fantasylife.com because, Adam, this is one of those weeks where sometimes people, I think, ask too early. They get them set, they don't check back, and then all of a sudden you look around and you say, oh, wait, who's playing on Thursday? Who's got a game on, the Black Friday games? It's we don't have those anymore.
No,
it's Saturday.
Just Saturday, yeah, 2 on Saturday.
So it's just one of those things where you set it a little bit too early, but you've got two games on Saturday, 3 games on Thursday, and the rest on Sunday with 2 games, only 2 games as well in that. You've said that, but there's only 2 games in that afternoon slate on Sunday. So you just really have to pay attention here.
For sure. This is it's always a challenging week every week, but this schedule breakdown makes it more interesting. And there are a lot of questions this week, including the quarterback position. So it could be a little difficult to navigate through this week.
You want to say anything nice about Ani? Or are you good?
No, I don't actually. So this is actually going to be, it's going to credit you because I love Ani, who is God. No. Let's look at something here, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
So, Kendall joined the Greenwich Street Tavern League last year.
Don't do this.
So she partnered with Ani Sridhar, who's trying to talk over me now with these sound bites because he probably knows where I'm going. So Kendall teamed up with Ani last year in the GST. They didn't make the playoffs. Kendall said, I have enough of this guy, Ani, bringing me down. It's not working. He doesn't know what he's doing. I have to go on my own. She went on her own. That's Ani crying.
That's Ani, yes.
So Kendall went on her own and reached the semifinals. So, what's the common denominator there? What happened?
And then lost.
But you got there.
I just knew Kendall had it. She locked in.
Yeah.
Thank you.
She locked in.
Sure.
That. I did lock in.
She's locked in.
And then
you're just mad you're not. You're just mad you lost in that league. You had it rigged.
No, I also made this up.
You played on a dinosaur site. You can't even figure out how to set your lineup, and then there you go. Kendall won it.
It's not. I mean, I thought you were smarter than that. You can't even set a lineup on a site. That's pretty bad. But I made the semifinals too.
Yeah, and then we both lost this week, which pissed me off.
That team I don't feel as bad about because that team overachieved.
Oh, yours?
Yeah,
yours was crazy that it went that far.
I got on a nice run, beat some of the top teams, and then it just ran out. And that was a Puka Nacua team. And like I said, and we're going to probably get this again, there'll be someone on Wednesday who puts up 35, 40 points, and people are going to be like, oh, I'm going to lose. No. I've seen teams with Puka lose this week. We saw it last week with Kyle Pitts. So don't just get discouraged if someone goes off on Christmas that you're going against. It's not over.
I'm glad people can now hear on the air what it sounds like in our breaks between you and producer Ani. I'm just so glad people understand that when these two are together twice a week or whatever it is, this is what we deal with. I will say too, you went up against Jen, and this is how quickly the season changes, but we can break down this Monday Night Football game. At the beginning of the year, her team is still stacked, but it was Jonathan Taylor, right? We were always looking at her team talking about JT. Jonathan Taylor comes in last night. You're still going to take it, right? 16.9 fantasy points in an ESPN scoring. That's what I'm looking at. But came back down, and it's just one of those things with Phillip Rivers. He looked better. 23 completions out of 35 attempts, 277 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 bad interception, 17 fantasy points. Alec Pierce was the guy this week that got the best of it. 4 receptions, 86 yards, 2 touchdowns off got all 4 of his targets for 24 fantasy points. I just can't imagine that people were playing him. I still feel that way, Adam, going forward with this Colts team. They're on the verge of just, they've kind of already collapsed. But when we talk about the fantasy playoff or the NFL playoffs, that's kind of where we're at right now. So Rivers, I guess, looked a little bit better. It was still the 49ers defense, but you got Alec Pierce points if anyone started him.
I can't imagine many did, but if you did, that was the miracle you got. I think we expected. I mean, Taylor got that touchdown. That really helped. I think a lot of people felt that there would be more volume. They came out. They were throwing. Taylor didn't get a lot of carries early on, so they came out throwing. Look, it was working. So, but yeah, it was Tyler Warren was a disappointment. Pittman was another disappointment. But I don't think people were expecting much from them anyway.
No, I mean, Rivers, he threw for 121 yards and a touchdown in the first quarter alone. And I was sitting back thinking, there's no way this is going to happen. Like, we are not seeing Rivers turn back the clock. Again, finished with 277 yards, 2 touchdowns. And again, that pick 6 in the fourth quarter was brutal. But he was connecting with Pierce. They only ran the ball 17 times as well. So Jonathan Taylor, I don't want to say afterthought, but it's, it's just not what it once was earlier in the season. If you have him on the other side, too, you got massive points. Not enough maybe for some. Sorry, Adam. Not enough maybe for some from George Kittle because he went down with his injury. We'll have to really pay attention to what he's going to look like going into week 17. But CMC, man, he came through 32.6 fantasy points. That's why when we had callers call in yesterday saying, hey, I'm facing CMC, we always say no lead is safe. And if they called in to say I have CMC, we say, hey, we kind of like your odds because he can put up nights like this, 21 carries, 117 yards, and then 6 receptions, 29 yards, 2 touchdowns off 8 targets as well. 32.6 fantasy points in a day that you love to see on Monday night if you're playing him to get you hopefully to the fantasy championships.
Hell of a year for CMC. And those that had him caught a break because Jake Tonjes should have had a touchdown. They didn't challenge it because it definitely looked like a touchdown. And then the next play, McCaffrey scores. So, again, these little things all add up, and sometimes you get the breaks go your way, other times you don't. And that's where we talk about the luck element in fantasy because you do need a little bit of it to get to the championship. I'm sure my opponent texted me. He's like, he knew he got lucky, with the injuries I suffered, but that's part of it. That's I could be on the other side of that, hopefully next year, because I've had a couple of really brutal losses in fantasy this year.
Yeah, I suffered some too. And then I was on the other side of some good ones, Adam, where, it's the push and pull, right? I told you on that game on Sunday night, I was facing Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff. I was up by 4 points. So twice I fell to the floor because I said, you're kidding. This is how it ends. And then they brought both of those back. So there were some tough losses this week, I will say. I saw some screenshots and it was but that's what we do with fantasy football. So now with the Niners, especially though, Adam, we just have to wait with George Kittle. If your waivers run, I had some run this morning, but if your waivers run this week, if they're still open, just make sure you go get a second tight end over there because we just don't know. And this game, I say unfortunately just for fantasy purposes, but it's Sunday night, so they're probably not going to give us a lot of information throughout the week. They play at San Francisco, going up against the Bears, but just because it's Sunday night, just have someone on deck. It's the championship. You can drop someone that you haven't been starting all year because this is the last time. If you've got any fab left, let's spend it. But just make sure you have a backup just in case with Kittle.
Yeah, and this is a week, too, where, like you said, the bench doesn't matter anymore now. You don't want to drop someone that your opponent can pick up and use. Mm-hmm. And this is also a week that if there's any time to block an opponent, this would be it. And I could see people doing that at quarterback this week. If someone maybe only had Lamar Jackson or Jordan Love, and they are going to pick up a bunch of quarterbacks to keep them away from the opponent.
Yeah, I was looking at that today. The person I'm facing in the Stacked League Championship has Herbert, but has Jordan Love as well. So I think they're going to go with Herbert. But I was looking at other quarterbacks that maybe, I don't want to say too much, maybe you could pick up. But I'll just keep that to myself. We just had waivers run too. You know who was the most bid on player this week? It's random. Come on.
It's
we haven't talked about him all year.
We haven't talked about him all year?
No, basically, no.
Dylan Sampson?
No. Taysom Hill.
Oh, yeah, geez. Is he tight end in that league?
Yep.
That... I don't... Was that like a last home game? So let's give Taysom Hill...
I think so. That's what I'm thinking. But I put him in the waivers article because... what if they do it again? I think he was the biggest not that there's a benefit to Devin Neal going down, but I think because we were talking about Audric Estime, who did get some work, but I think the biggest beneficiary of that was Taysom Hill coming in. And I think that if you want to bid on Taysom Hill, or if you've got an opponent that you want to block from maybe getting Taysom Hill, I think he's a boomer bust tight end too. That's where I'm going to have him in my rankings. Like, he's not going to crack the tight end 1 conversation, but he had 52% of the rushing attempts, 11% target share. That's nothing to look away from, I guess.
Yeah, it's just the problem is we don't know if they'll do that again. He also threw a pass, a 38-yard touchdown pass to Olave. That was in the fourth quarter. That was very late. So they probably put him in there and said, all right, you know what? End your home game. Go out there, try and make a throw. But you're right. He had 12 carries. Estime had 5. Evan Hull had 5. And he caught 4 passes for 36 yards. Now, he did lose a fumble as well. So, yeah, that's the only challenging part is we don't know if that was just, hey, it's your last home game here. Yeah. Let's send you off in a big way, because we didn't see that the week before.
No.
I know Neal got hurt in that game.
We haven't seen it all year.
He had one game where he had 10 carries in November against Atlanta. It was only 10 for 17. He hasn't been good anyway this year, at least in years past. Like he was good. He's not good anymore.
Yeah, no. And that's why I say just be cautious. If you're picking up Taysom Hill, like I would go for AJ Barner ahead of him. If Juwan Johnson is out there, I'd go for kind of. I'm ready for it. Going against Carolina? Yeah, I am. I've got my Mariners hat on today. But yeah, I'd go for a few other. There's other tight ends that I would maybe go and look for, but Taysom Hill is definitely one. It was someone's last $6 at him in my league that they spent money on for Taysom Hill. So we'll see if it works out. Who knows?
Do they have who's their other tight end? Did you see?
No, I haven't seen.
Okay, maybe it's Kittle.
Maybe it is Kittle. I picked up Barner. I put bids in on both. I only had $4 left though, so that's kind of what you. And I'm streaming. I've been streaming defenses all week. So who did I pick up? I actually picked up. You know what? Just in case, I picked up the Lions this week. I think the Lions is a streamable defense if you don't have JJ McCarthy. If he's out in this one. We saw Brosmer before, and I know they're around 55% rostered, but if he's out, I think they could be a good streamer. Same with Jacksonville, if we're talking about that right now. I think Jacksonville could also be a pretty good one this week. They're facing the Colts, and we just saw the 49ers just put up 12 fantasy points against them last night. So I think those are two solid options.
Yeah, I mean, this week it's all about playing the matchups, right?
Play the backup quarterbacks. Yeah.
Well, that's a lot. Right? There's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. How many? We could have 4, right?
It feels like more than that.
Does it feel like more? Well, we have to figure out if Jordan Love's going to come out of concussion protocol.
And Lamar Jackson, if he's going to play.
Lamar
same
Jackson,
game.
Marcus Mariota might be banged up in this one. Yeah, that's and then the Vikings. So there's 4.
Chiefs with the third string quarterback.
5. I think that's it. Is that enough for us? I mean, the Jets have been playing.
The Colts are playing their backup quarterback.
Yeah, so maybe we're at 7. Wow. The Christmas games. We're going to watch them, but man, that's going to be...
Dolphins are playing backup.
The Dolphins, that's right. Quinn Ewers.
Jets are playing the third string.
Oh, geez, we got to stop. What's happening? What's happening to our fantasy season in week 17? What is going on? All right, we're going to continue on. We do have updates for DK Metcalf, and sorry, DK Metcalf managers. Yeah, you're going to have to look for another wide receiver option, or maybe this makes your decisions for your start sit a little bit easier. We're going to go through those and some more week 16 takeaways here coming up next. Adam and Ani, the gift that just keeps on giving, best friends.
All of that edited content, just so brutal.
It sounds just like you.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think that people could tell the difference. Right?
I didn't say, when I said I love things.
Oh, okay.
That
I'm like, don't say it. He's gonna.
It wasn't. It was in reference to something else.
Yeah.
People who heard the original sound bite, who have been listening for years, they know what I said.
So funny. So good. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome in Fantasy Life on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. Kendall Valenzuela, Adam Ronis, producer Ani is also here today. If you couldn't tell, getting you ready for all things week 17 across the NFL. And of course, we want to see the screenshots. We want to see the questions at K Valenzuela 17 at Adam Ronis over there on X. If you got into the championship, if you had some bad beats like Adam did over the weekend, we want to see it all here. So make sure you send those in, and we are here to help you with, like I said, any of those week 17 start sit decisions. Just know that a lot's going to change from today, Tuesday, to when these games start on Thursday. We've got a lot of injury reports that we have to watch through, Adam, with concussion protocol, a lot of quarterback questions as well. One thing that, I know he's going to appeal, so maybe it just comes down to one game, but for right now, it looks like DK Metcalf's done for the season with a 2-game suspension due to that fan altercation. So they suspended him 2 games without pay for conduct that detrimental to the NFL for initiating physical confrontations with a fan. So this happened again over the weekend. According to the NFL, it just violates league policy. You just also should not be doing what DK Metcalf was doing. Again, he's going to appeal the suspension per Adam Schefter. So if it stands, he's going to forfeit around $555,000 for 2 games. We'll see if it comes back down to 1. Doesn't really matter for us though, Adam. Right now, we're looking like we don't have DK Metcalf for week 17.
And I don't know if that's a bad thing anyway, if you had DK Metcalf.
I was going to say, maybe it makes your decisions a little bit easier, because he could be one all season where you just sat there and said, it's DK Metcalf. Maybe he could give me some fantasy points. So maybe I agree. Maybe he makes your decisions easier now.
He had a great matchup last week against Detroit. Now, the game script didn't go according to what most thought, because Detroit was a 6.5 to 7-point favorite. They're at home. You figure their offense is going to put up points, and Pittsburgh's going to be playing from behind and have to throw more than they used to. And that didn't happen. He still had 9 targets, did catch 4 passes for 42 yards, but definitely seemed a little rattled after that incident with the fan. He had a drop pass. He had an offensive pass interference. And it's been a bumpy ride for DK Metcalf this year. And a lot of it is there are times where they just don't throw the ball to him. So I don't think it's a massive loss. I don't know how many teams got there with Metcalf. If you did, you really weren't relying on him. He actually probably hurt you more in a lot of weeks. For the season, he is 26th in points per game in PPR formats at the receiver position. So,
that's horrible.
Yeah, you just got a lot of games below double digits, and you really didn't get a lot of blow-up games. I mean, he had that game against the Ravens in Week 14 where he was 7 for 148. And then he had another game early in the year against Minnesota. He was 5 for 126 with a touchdown. But, 7 total touchdowns on the season. He's not going to get to 1,000 yards now. He's at 850, 59 catches. So, yeah, I think it's disappointing overall in fantasy. I know he was probably like 4th, 5th round pick, but it was just too erratic for Metcalf this season.
Yeah, we've had this conversation. It's been disappointing for Metcalf, though, in seasons where he's with the Steelers and seasons where he's with the Seahawks. And you think to yourself, okay, they spent this money to go and get him. You've got George Pickens, going to the Cowboys. This obviously opens.
I won the pool too. I had Metcalf getting suspended before Pickens.
Stop. You're so annoying. I thought you actually won something. It's just it's disappointing. And I think with this team overall, right, you're not really starting a lot of these Steelers receivers anyway. You're really looking at Kenneth Gainwell, Jaylen Warren as the 2 guys that are here. And Kenneth Gainwell really has come on strong. We've talked about him for the last half of the season. His utilization score, I've looked every single week, has gone up every single time. You see him with an 18% target share, 5.3 per game. And he's just been giving you really good fantasy points. Jaylen Warren leads the way on the ground, but really it's been Gainwell that's expanded his workload and giving you some really good outings over there. So I have both of them as RB2s this week.
Yeah, for sure. And Cleveland has been getting gashed by the run lately. Remember how great they were early in the season? Now you can run on them. So yeah, Gainwell has just been unbelievable. He's really helped teams in a massive way. And Warren's been fine too, but you wished it was his entire backfield, because imagine what he could have done.
We said that when Najee was back there, though.
I think this was the year that people had hoped. Now, it was we've discussed this. It was Caleb Johnson getting drafted early, and then you started to see Warren move up, and I guess people realized that he was the better pick, and he would be more involved in the offense. And then Gainwell's right behind him now for points per game and PPR on the season. Like, they're both going to finish as RB2s in points per game.
Yeah. And you had the blow up game, right, with Jaylen Warren last week against Detroit. So
2 big runs.
But you didn't get that all year. That was the most fantasy points that you had. It came at a great time, I guess, if you needed him. But he's really been more averaging 13 fantasy points, 14 fantasy points week in and week out, which you'll take. But if you did that, if you were really a 0 RB drafter, Adam, because I have him in a couple where I went receiver heavy, tight end heavy, and you come away with him as your second, yeah, that can hurt you a little bit. But no matter what, those are really the 2 guys that you're looking at for the Steelers team. Again, DK Metcalf suspended 2 games. He's going to appeal we'll see. I'd be shocked though, Adam, if they overturn both of them, right? If he appeals, it would really probably be just a 1-game suspension, don't you think?
I don't know, but yeah, I did see some interesting contract language where he could lose a lot of money if this.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was insane. You didn't see? Oh, you didn't see that story?
I saw the game checks, like the 555,000 I saw for the 2 games.
No, it was more than that. So, yeah, it could void a $40 million in future guaranteed money.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So he can still make every dollar of the money, but if the suspension is upheld, the money will no longer be guaranteed, and that includes a $20 million injury guarantee in 2027. So Jonathan Jones wrote this story from CBS Sports.
Okay, I'll go check that one out. Yeah, I just saw the game checks, which we always know is expensive, but that's not good. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. Probably nothing good though. So again, DK Metcalf. Make sure you probably do have other options if you've been playing with DK Metcalf this season, but just go look around there. I wanted to talk through just some more takeaways from Week 16 here, Adam, and our expectations going into Week 17. Just Stefon Diggs. We've talked about him before. Don't you feel like if they gave Stefon Diggs a full-time role that we could get this kind of performance every single week? Because I think that's the more disappointing part. I think if you've had Stefon Diggs this season, he hasn't been a must-start. You didn't pay too much for him as well, so I don't know if he's buried you, but 22.8 fantasy points against Baltimore last week. They're taking on the Jets this week, so you know that someone's probably going to come away with some good points, but 138 yards off 9 receptions for Stefon Diggs, and it just looked great. It just always makes me laugh at him when we see outings like this from him and we think, could he not just do this week in and week out if he did get that full-time role? It always just, I just shrug my shoulders a little bit.
Yeah, because every time it looks like he's going to take off and you feel comfortable locking him in your lineup, we get a week where he plays 50% of the snaps and he's barely involved. Now, he played 59% of the snaps this past week. Now, that was a competitive game where they actually needed him. There have been many weeks this year they have not needed him, and I don't know if that's part of the problem. They're not going to need him this week against the Jets, more than likely. I know it's a divisional game, crazy thing happens, but the Jets right now are just absolute
horrible.
Yeah. Now, unless, look, the Patriots are coming off a shorter week, playing the night game, a very emotional win, a huge win. There's definitely that letdown factor here, which could be the beginning of the game. And then they'll wake up and be like, guys, we're playing the Jets. Let's go. And then they'll pull away. But there is that chance for that slow start. But yeah, with Diggs, I mean, he's coming off a stretch where he had 8 catches for 66 yards over 3 games, where he had 11 total targets. And then he goes off against Baltimore. So, yeah, it's been weird. Now, the last time he faced the Jets, he had 9 for 105 and 11 catches on 11 targets. So, you're probably going to use him this week if you made it, depending on what else you have. But, yeah, it's just been very frustrating because there's been too many weeks where he's only playing around 50% of the snaps. And we see he can still play.
Yeah, and he did have his highest route participation, second highest, I should say, of the year at 80%. But yeah, it's 20. You'll take 22.8 fantasy points every day, mid range. That I have him actually as a low end wide receiver too. I'm waiting to see if Kayshon Boutte, Demario Douglas, what they're because they were both banged up in this game. If they're both out, I'll probably have them as a high end wide receiver too, maybe just because they have to throw the ball to someone. But yeah, and it's incentive season, Adam. He got $500,000 from that game. I think it's for his receptions. So he gets $500,000 bonuses for 70, 80, 90, and 100 receptions each. So
there's going to be some nice parties ahead.
Hey, you think we'll be invited? No. That's
probably not.
Maybe you.
Maybe.
You're a little bit, you live a little bit closer. Receiving yards, he also gets $500,000 bonuses for 1,000 and then add by 100, 1,100, 1,200, all that good stuff. So something to watch out for there. But yeah, Stefon Diggs with a big day here. Someone else who's finishing the season very nicely here, Adam, is Chris Olave. I know we've talked about him in the past as always, but he's having a strong finish to the fantasy season. If you're someone that also has quarterback issues, especially if you're looking at a super flex. I don't even know in a super flex if Tyler Shuck is going to be out there.
He's not. He's on my team that made the finals.
Oh, there we go. So he's not, but he's just been really good. I continue to write him up week in and week out, Adam, as someone that you should go pick up off the waiver wire, because he's averaging the last 4 games. He's averaging over 17 fantasy points per game. So Chris Olave having a nice finish to the season in 7 games with Shuck. He has averaged 17.7 fantasy points, 85 utilization scores. So you're really happy with how the season has ended with Olave.
I think a lot of championship teams are going to have Olave on it. He is going to turn out to be one of the best values in fantasy this year, going usually in the 6th round, sometimes the 7th. And a lot of people were worried about the concussions. They were worried about the offense, the quarterback. And sometimes you just take the talented player and it works out. And Olave's 8th in points per game in PPR format. So just a great value and just a high floor every single week. He's had his worst game this year is 6 points in a PPR. He has 6 and an 8.7. Everything else double digits. So, and in the fantasy playoffs too, he's coming through. His first 2 weeks, 20.5 and 36.8 in PPR.
And now you get Tennessee, week 17. How about we just go off? And Tyler Shuck's trying to do his best, to just prove like, hey, keep me around next year. You don't need to go get another quarterback. I could be the answer for you. That's all still up in the air. Maybe they do look in his direction, because it really hasn't been awful. They've put together a really nice December for a team that started off really, really bad at the beginning of the year. They've put together a good month. So he wants to continue that. Chris Olave obviously does. Did you read that story, by the way, that he was contemplating retirement last year? You see that on ESPN?
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he was. I mean, I think it was just, in passing, he said, because of all the concussions, it was definitely in the back of his mind, but he, obviously came back and stuff. So it's nice to see someone that a lot of our conversations over the offseason were about the concussions, about his just overall health, but he's sitting 6th in catchable targets per game, 5th in targets per game, target shares, he's sitting at 11th. So he's had really, really strong data points throughout the last couple of games here. And we hope that he continues that as we go into week 17. We are going to continue talking about some of these running backs, though. I want to see if some of these running backs in your mind, Adam, could be in larger roles as the championship week continues on here. So I want to talk through Rhamondre Stevenson, a little Omarion Hampton as well. We're going to break down those running backs and more here coming up next. This is Fantasy Life right here. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you on this Tuesday, getting you ready for week 17 and those championships that need to be won here, Adam. I see a ton of tweets, messages coming in over there on X. I saw one from Kevin sending us a screenshot. He won 164-91. No sweats there for Kevin. Wish that happened to me.
That's nice when you don't have any sweats.
You know who he had though? Chase Brown, George Kittle. Cortland Sutton had a big day too with that 20.6 fantasy points, and RJ Harvey 22.1. Denver Broncos gave you some good points there. I saw another one here from someone saying started the season 0-5, now in the championship. Asking for help about tight ends though. I have Waller, could pick up Taysom Hill, Schultz, or Theo Johnson. Want to bring home the gold. Been listening all year. Yeah, Theo Johnson got double zeros last week. Ask me how I know. It's because I started him in one, unfortunately.
He had a bad drop, and then the Giants didn't throw the football at all.
Mm-hmm. The Texans. Who are the Texans playing?
The Chargers.
Yeah,
Who was it? It was Schultz and who else?
Taysom Hill, or Theo Johnson.
Probably Schultz.
He has Waller though. I don't know if you don't just. Well, it wasn't necessarily amazing with Ewers in there, but they're playing Tampa.
In the best match. I mean, he had a good matchup against Cincy. I mean, Tampa's a mess though right now too.
I know. Tampa gives up recently over the last 6 weeks. They've given up the most fantasy points to quarterbacks. I don't necessarily think that that's going to be happening again. But Schultz has looked good over these past few weeks. So if you're looking at anyone, although the Chargers defense is not something to mess with, but Dalton Schultz has gotten you 21.6, 14.5 favorable matchups though. That's against Arizona and Las Vegas, but he's kind of at the front of that list for me there. But congrats to getting into the fantasy playoffs here. Adam, I want to talk through, and a lot of people probably have these issues this week, but maybe some running backs who could be in larger roles. because of injuries and anything else that we saw in week 16. One is Omarion Hampton. Now, if you have Omarion Hampton, I am just assuming you've been playing him since his return, but Kimani Vidal missed the final drive. He went down with a neck injury. They called him day to day. But still, it's something to pay attention to. If you have Vidal, Hampton was already having a great day before he left anyway. 57% snap share, 65% rush share. Finished the game with 16.5 fantasy points. But if Vidal is out for this week, you could see Hampton go back to what we talked about earlier in the year, especially when he came back. Can he get the pass down duties again? Because that really set him apart from all the other running backs that we were talking about. If he can get back to that role, what's he really going to look like? So right now, I have him upgraded to an RB2 in the rankings, which are going to be live at fantasylife.com. I believe we've got early rankings up there from a couple other rankers, so you guys can go check those out. But if he gets the pass down work again, that could be big.
Yeah, for sure. Like, he's looked good. He's looked better than Vidal, but they've been using Vidal for pass protection. So he's been on the field more than Hampton. So getting him off the field will certainly benefit Hampton, and maybe he gets more receptions too, because that's something we did see early in the season. Once Najee Harris went down, we saw a stretch where Hampton was catching 4 or 5 passes per game. So that'll just raise his floor, and he's looked good. Had the touchdown this past week, so definitely bodes well for Hampton moving forward if Vidal is going to be out.
Not an easy matchup, let's say that, with the Texans. Chargers are at home in this one, though.
The Texans have been vulnerable, though, on the ground lately. I mean, Gentry just had 128 rushing against them. Taylor had 85. Cook had 116. I know those are top backs, but it's not enough for me to say, yeah, we can't play this guy. So if Hampton's going to get 15 to 18 touches, then that's I think he'll produce.
Rhamondre Stevenson, another one that maybe has a big role depending on what Travion Henderson looks like. He exited. That was pretty early when he went down against Baltimore.
Yeah, don't remind me.
Oh, third series here is what I'm looking at.
Yeah, thanks.
Because of the head injury. Sorry, I had him too, if that helps. But I was not going to win in that matchup because I was that GST score. I think. What did he end up? What did he?
222. That's our guy Truck, and it's actually his birthday today. So happy birthday! He's probably listening.
Thanks for beating me. Just kidding. That was the worst, and I have not been.
But isn't it? It's better to go out like that, though, isn't it? Like, would you rather go out like that or what I suffered with the Kittle sweat?
Probably how I did.
Right.
Yeah.
Just get it over with. Like, I know it sucks. No one wants to get.
Yeah. I'd rather just, I kind of knew by Sunday afternoon, and I just enjoyed my day after that. I was like, okay, well,
you're like, oh, well, this one's over next.
Well, and it helps because then you're not looking at your bench, right? And saying, well, if
what could I have done?
An extra 2 points. I had an opponent that sat was it the Saints defense that got 20 fantasy points over the weekend? Like, it was
over who though? Like, to me, the Saints were a top 4 defense.
No, I know, but I'm saying
Jets.
if you were looking at that and really being nitpicky, you could say, oh man, I could have done XYZ here. But yeah, I got beat so badly that it didn't matter who I put in. Even if I had Alec Pierce last night, I would have lost. But Rhamondre Stevenson. So once Travion Henderson went down, he had a 95% snap share and 15.8 fantasy points. It's not obvious. People know this, but if Henderson can't go this week, he's really projected as a low-end RB1 because of the matchup with the Jets. This could be a perfect time for Stevenson managers.
Oh, yeah. Jets allow the second most fantasy points at a running back position. So, yeah, this would be a great spot for Stevenson to get a lot of volume and put up big numbers, potentially score multiple touchdowns. So, yeah, it would be
crazy.
And I'm guessing, now, again, concussions are tricky, but we have seen most of the time these players do miss at least one game. And if you're the Patriots, you're not even going to take any chance because you can get by in this game without him. They are favored by 13.5 points, New England is. So they might just take the cautious approach. And even if he clears and say, you know what, sit out a week, we're fine without you. So I would be prepared to be without Travion Henderson this week.
Just go get someone. And I know the running back waiver wire is thin, to say the least, Adam. I guess Jawhar Jordan, if he's still out there for the Texans, you don't love that, but he was the lead option on the ground with Woody Marks unable to go. 65% of the rushing attempts, 67% of the short yardage snaps as well. So Yeah, not the prettiest name to say, but he definitely is someone that I think is more available than anyone else. Because I don't want to recommend. I wrote up Dylan Sampson, but I said, Adam, you have to be careful because we don't even know if Dylan Sampson can go, and I don't even know if you want to go that far with the Browns. Like Quinshon Judkins was really, and Harold Vannon are the only two that we felt comfortable starting there. I'd maybe pick up Emmanuel Wilson if Josh Jacobs isn't good to go, but those are ones that we have to wait and see with the injury reports. I've got a couple more running backs that I want to talk to. Speaking of Jawhar Jordan, I want to mention him here and Aaron Jones for the Vikings.
Ooh.
And continue. No, not today, not ever. You haven't gotten me on that one. I'm very proud of myself.
I did. I have the video proof.
No, I don't think you do.
I have video proof. Okay, I'll send it to you.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna break it down here coming up next. As always, hopefully you guys are having a great start to your Tuesday, enjoying those championship-bound teams. Adam and I can't relate to, and as many, it's fine. We just had heartbreak, and it's what happens in fantasy football here. I see one here from Mike that I just want to shout out. It said he was down by 30. 207 and 177 going into Monday night, had Kittle and Jennings that sent him to the championship. I think a lot of people might have done that, or George Kittle before he went down. 14-1 team, he said, is very happy. So congratulations on that one, Mike. That's a good one here. I see a question here from Michael that I want to get to, saying my quarterback waiver wire is really thin. Would you start Dak or Jordan Love or ride the hot hand of JJ McCarthy?
Wait. Okay, first of all,
Dak.
Jordan Dak plays Wednesday at 1:00. We don't know if McCarthy is going to play, and that game is the second game on Thursday. Mm-hmm. And then Jordan Love doesn't play till Saturday, and we don't know if he's going to clear concussion protocol.
You're starting Dak.
Yeah. They already said he's going to play. I think people are worried about the Cowboys. They're out of it, their motivation. I don't think that's a worry with Dak. I would be more worried about Javonte Williams.
Well, that's
the shoulder issue.
Yes. And we've had, there was a question here that came in just a few minutes ago asking about more specifically Cowboys players here. What are you foreseeing with players on teams like the Cowboys where they have nothing to play for? I don't see with them. I don't see that being a problem. Like the Dak, like at least this week they're playing on Christmas. It's a nationally televised game. Or is that a Netflix game? I think
so. What is it? I don't even know.
I don't know. There's so many streaming options.
I think it's Netflix for the first two games, right?
And then on Netflix.
Yeah. Okay, so two are on Netflix, and the night game is on Prime. Oh boy, Prime got Broncos Chiefs. Yeah, have fun with that, guys.
Yeah, it'll be on in the background. I really need Javonte Williams to play this week, though. Just let me put that out there.
Yeah, he played 57% of the snaps this week, and he's been dealing with that shoulder injury. And now it's a short week, so he would be the one I'm more concerned about. But I'm not worried about Lamb, Pickens, Dak.
Okay.
Going up against Washington, they're going to want to put up numbers.
You're playing Dak. If the options are between
those
Dak
scenarios,
and JJ McCarthy and Jordan Love, even
they both might not play. If those are the only three quarterbacks you have, Dak might be the only one that plays out of those three.
I still have Dak as QB5 this week.
I'm not worried.
Else. I don't think you should.
It's Washington. You don't think if he goes out there and starts, you don't think he's putting up numbers this week?
Yeah, no, I do. So speaking of, you have to watch out for Javonte Williams this week. Aaron Jones could be another running back that gets a little bit more. Jordan Mason exited the game last week with an ankle injury on the first drive. So Jones took over that rushing work, 81% of the attempts like we figured he would. He also had, though, a 10% target share, 52% route participation rate. So 100% of the 2-minute offense, all things that we love to see. Only came out to 11.3 fantasy points, but that's a quick turnaround as well. And with their quarterback injuries, you might see them, rely a little bit more on Aaron Jones. I have no idea what they're going to do with JJ McCarthy. That throws a wrench in their plans. We might see Brosmer again as their starting quarterback. The last time we saw that, Adam, it was awful. So I don't know if a lot of people are starting any Vikings players right now, but Jones might be the only one in this game if Brosmer's out there.
Yeah, I mean, they are going against the Detroit defense that's atrocious, but Detroit still has some hope to try and get in the playoffs. So they have to get a win. I mean, look, Green Bay could easily lose Saturday.
Is that what? Because they need to win out. I know that for sure. And
I think they need to win 2, and they need Green Bay to lose 2. That would get them in.
Okay. Oh yeah, they could. I mean, they could easily lose. Anything's happening this year, Adam.
Yes.
It's just it's so much fun, and we've said that before, but it's so much fun. Like if the playoffs started right now, you'd have the Rams traveling to play the Eagles. You'd have Green Bay traveling to play Chicago. You'd have San Francisco traveling to play the Panthers. What are we doing here?
Yeah, and they might be favored by 7 in that game.
Chargers traveling to play Pittsburgh, Buffalo facing Jacksonville, which could be if that did happen, that could be a sneaky game. Then Houston playing New England.
As competitive as it has been this year, we really don't have a lot of playoff spots up for grab. It's really seeding now.
Yeah. Seattle Seahawks first. How about that? First round bye?
Well, you lose to San Francisco and San Francisco wins this week. They're the 1 seed. San Francisco controls their destiny.
They've been in the we've talked about they've been in the rearview mirror. No, they I feel like a lot of people were hyper focused on the Rams and Seahawks, but they're right there in it, which is crazy because of how many injuries they had. But we said it when the season started, they had the easiest strength of schedule coming into 2025, and they've taken that to their advantage. Let's just say that. It is time for the Fantasy Life Water Cooler. We're going through the news and notes, all of your questions as well, coming up here next. Oh, it's a great day. It's a great Tuesday. If you can't tell, producer Ani's here, just with his best friend, Adam Ronis. I'm here too. Kendall Valenzuela, at Valenzuela 17, at Adam Ronis over there on X. It is time for that Fantasy Life Water Cooler. You know the drill by now, but if you don't, just in case, to let you know, we are going through all the news and notes that you need to know heading into Week 17, championship weekend for most of you here. And I'll just say it, Adam, you have to really pay attention to the injury reports this week. It's always a weird week with these games falling on Christmas. We've got 3 going on when we're looking at it for Thursday. We have 2 games on Saturday, a bunch on Sunday in the early slate, and then 2 in the afternoon evening slate before the 49ers take on the Bears, before the Rams take on the Falcons on Monday night. So as always, you can go to fantasylife.com, sign up for that newsletter. Pete and everyone does a great job writing that up every single day in your inbox 7 days a week. We also have our projections, we have our start sit tool, and we have our rankings, along with a lot of other stuff that can help you make your fantasy lineup decisions just a little bit easier. But just, be cautious this week. Pay extra attention. If you're setting your lineups today, please check it every single day. It's too early to do that yet. We just do not have enough information, but we can try and help you start guiding your decisions to the right one here in the water cooler. As always, we want to make sure that we get to as many of your questions as we can to 888-963-2682 is the phone number to call in, or you can press that new call-in button on the Sirius XM app. Also find us at Valenzuela17, at Adam Ronis over there on X as well to send us in some questions. So we talked about this earlier in the show, Adam, but just wanted to recap DK Metcalf. So it looks like DK Metcalf is suspended for 2 games. According to Adam Schefter, he is going to appeal that. I don't know if he gets the appeal approved, if that means that it's going to be 0 games or if they're going to bring it down to 1. No matter what, I don't know how many championship teams will have DK Metcalf on them. But again, just to make sure everyone knows, especially in those deeper formats, you were probably having to play DK Metcalf. Just get someone else out there if you can. Pick someone up or just start someone else. Not great.
Definitely not. We knew this was coming. It was expected that this was going to happen. And many teams with DK Metcalf, I would assume, are not in the championship. I know there's probably a handful, but he has not been a player that has made a massive difference in fantasy this year.
No, to say the least. Maybe you can go get a Parker Washington. Maybe that.
Can we expect that again?
No, but it was quite shocking. I went back to watch that game again against the Broncos. That was just it was not on my bingo card. Well, especially because of all the, and maybe I should have looked at it as maybe it was, the Broncos time, because they had that win streak at Mile High dating back to last season in 2024. So 10 targets, I don't think we expect every single time I know we don't expect that every single time with Parker Washington. 6 catches, 145 yards and a touchdown. Yeah. But
and Brian Thomas saw a lot of Patrick Surtain, and there were other times he was on Jacoby Myers. So Myers had 8 targets, Thomas had 3. So I would expect, Thomas to get more this week. We just knew that they were not going to go after Surtain. So Parker Washington was the beneficiary, was open consistently, made some big plays. And this week they're going up against the Colts, and we saw that defense could not stop San Francisco at all.
No, and I think that if you want to block your opponent, maybe that's what you do, because that's what you can look at this week too, Adam, is on the
Yes.
waiver wire. You need to be paying attention. If you're in the championship, look at who your opponent has, look at what they're lacking, and it's okay to clear the bench because we have no other week to play for. It's okay. Don't now. Here's the other thing, Adam. Don't drop someone that then your opponent could go and pick up and start. You have to be you have to calculate who you can pick up, who you can drop. But now's the time that if they're down a receiver, if they were playing DK Metcalf, you go pick up a Parker Washington, maybe even a Mac Hollins. Like, these names might not be sexy, but they might be names that they have to look for. Luther Burden, I think, is one that we've mentioned on the waiver wire for the last couple weeks. If they're floating around out there, it's time to just start blocking your opponent for week 17. You have to get down and dirty.
For sure. You should be looking with details at your opponent's roster. And if they do have a weakness, quarterback, tight end, yeah, pick up those players, put them on your bench to block them. You need to do everything you can this week, especially when you're down to 2 teams, to get that edge.
Yeah, and I think quarterback's a big one this week too, Adam, especially super flex formats, even 1 QB formats. Like, we have so many question marks on who could be starting, who could not be starting. So making sure you're ahead in the quarterback department as well. Just make sure to consider it. Speaking of quarterback updates, at least we saw one yesterday from Josh Allen, considered day-to-day, expected to play versus the Eagles. I saw a couple questions come in about him yesterday as well. I saw Sean McDermott did say that Allen might miss some practice time, but he's currently just sore. So just, pay attention. Things can change quickly in the NFL. Finished that game 12 of 19 for 130 yards, 7 carries for 17 yards. I don't know. To me, Adam, after he got hurt, you could tell, I think it hindered him and his ability. It just stunk. I know people might be nervous coming into this week saying, well, what if he's still going to be playing banged up? But to me, Adam, it's still Josh Allen. Like, you still put him out there if they say he's good to go.
Yeah, for the most part, I know he's provided a couple of duds this season, but we also see him bounce back quite a bit. And look, we went through this last week with Burrow. A lot of people were reluctant to go to Burrow because he was coming off that terrible game against Baltimore. And what did he do? He went out there and put up a massive game. So Josh Allen is capable of doing that anytime he takes the field. And just the 2 previous weeks, he had big games. So, yeah, you just want to monitor this injury, though, for sure, because he definitely looked like he was bothered by it. And I think it did impact his play the rest of the game.
Yeah, I agree. Again, quarterbacks that you could go to look to pick up. Tyler Shuck is someone that has scored at least 17 fantasy points in 4 straight games. He's completing 66.7% of his passes, so that's something you love to see. Should we recommend Cam Ward quietly over these last few? I don't think it's going to be pretty, but he's not playable in 1 quarterback leagues and he hasn't been for most of the rookie season. But he's thrown 2 touchdown passes 3 consecutive games. Man, I might recommend him. And then Aaron Rodgers, 29% rostered as well. Those could be ones at Cleveland and then playing against Baltimore week 18, which we don't usually care about, but there are some quarterbacks
Some
out
people
there,
that play, yeah. I'm guessing most people at quarterback that are in the championship should be fine. Maybe there's a Lamar Jackson team that I would hope you had another quarterback with Lamar anyway, with the way he's been. But I can't imagine many teams out there this week that need a quarterback.
I'm facing one with Jordan Love.
Really? Oh, they only Love and no one else?
No, they do have Justin Herbert.
Oh, but Herbert's got a tough matchup.
Some people might be there. I was surprised to see the Jordan Love one, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. The Chiefs did place Gardner Minshew on IR, so that ends his 2025 season. We did get good news, though, Adam, that he avoided tearing his ACL. So, again, that's always we never want guys to get injured ever, but this late in the season, it always puts them up against the clock for 2026 and the start of that season. But this is not good. I mean, are you starting anyone for the Chiefs this week? Is Isaiah Pacheco the only one that you could even flirt with the idea of starting him in week 17?
I don't even know if you want to do that. I know he got a lot of checkdowns and piled up, but I don't know if you want to count on that again. We don't know about Rashee Rice, if he's going to return. I guess we'll get a better idea today of where he's at in the concussion protocol, but maybe he's just like, yeah, I'm not coming back to this mess.
Because why would you? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you can really feel good about starting anyone. I mean, where are you going to have Kelsey? 10 this week at tight end?
If that, maybe 11 or 12.
He has like incentives and milestones to play for, but he did last week and did nothing with it.
I don't think they can get the ball to him.
Yeah.
Like I might put him, I think I'm going to put him at 14 or 13.
Yeah, I would probably say no. I don't feel comfortable starting anyone in Kansas City this week after what we saw last week.
Really bad. The downfall this season and all
that was against Tennessee.
I know.
Tennessee.
That's why I'm saying I don't think I can even put him inside the top 12. If you can't do it against Tennessee, when's it going to happen?
Yeah,
it's bad.
They're all risky.
And they're playing the Broncos. No chance. Broncos at home. No, I'm sorry. Chiefs at home against the Broncos. No way. I don't know. I can't do it. I'm with you there. I think Isaiah Pacheco, I guess if you have a Travion Henderson injury, right? If you've got I don't know, Jordan Mason, I don't think you were necessarily starting. There are some running back injuries though going into this weekend that maybe will make you take a second look at Isaiah Pacheco. But that's about it. And it's not necessarily a good thing that we're saying for any of these guys to go ahead and start. Kimani Vidal, again, considered day-to-day with the neck strain. So the Chargers might be without him for Week 17. Again, we still don't know. Good to know that it's day-to-day instead of week-to-week. But this is another guy where if he doesn't go at him, Omarion Hampton managers, you can't go and pick him up off waivers. He's more than 80% rostered. But you do look at him and say to yourself, maybe there's a chance here that he gets the passing down role back again with the Chargers at home against the Texans. That's a Saturday game. So we'll get the first initial injury report today, which kind of acts as a Wednesday report. So just pay attention to that.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a critical week for the injury report. And again, it's challenging because you have the 3 games Thursday, 2 on Saturday. So you're going to be forced to make some decisions that you might not want to, especially if you have injured players playing late on Sunday or Sunday night or Monday night. You're not going to be able to wait around. And that's the unfortunate part because it's championship week. You want to put your best lineup out there, but there are going to be scenarios where you have difficult decisions to make, especially if you can't go to the waiver wire to pick up an additional players, for example, like at a tight end. Like George Kittle, yeah. That's going to be the big one this week because that is a Sunday night game. So if you have any other tight end that's playing Thursday or Saturday, now, you obviously can wait a couple days to see if we get more news, but the Thursday game is going to be a challenge because I don't think we're going to have any clarity on Kittle by Thursday.
Oh, no. No, they're going to keep that one pretty close, I think, until it's time to play because the Bears, again, they locked in their playoff push as well. But this is a huge game. 49ers play at home in this one, too. So.
Oh, yeah. Bears are competing, trying to win the division. Yeah. The 49ers are trying to win the division and a potential 1 seed because if the 49ers win this week and beat Seattle in week 18, they're the 1 seed.
Why? Why do you have to?
I'm presenting scenarios. I didn't say that's what I'm rooting for. Relax. Jeez.
Feel like that's a push to me. Seahawks
it's not.
No, it's not.
You think? Okay, you know me. If I had to choose between Seattle and the 49ers, who am I going for?
Please.
Come on, I'm a Cowboys fan. You think I like the 49ers?
No, you don't like many teams though anyway, to
be
honest with you. Seahawks play the Panthers this week. Panthers are at home and making their playoff push because Tampa Bay just absolutely unraveled before our eyes. I don't know what the heck. That's still going back and seeing some of those games. It's shocking to me, especially because this Tampa Bay team, not to go on a total side rant here, but they're healthy. They're way healthier than when we saw them at the beginning of the season. And so to get all those receivers back and to see Baker Mayfield struggling like he has been, it's just, yeah, it wasn't on my bingo card. We knew regression was coming, but I didn't think it was going to happen this badly for him.
Yeah, it's been brutal. And I wouldn't be surprised if they lost this week to Miami. I think they're playing that poorly right now that I can't even say for sure that they're going to beat Miami.
You're benching Ibuka.
Oh, yeah.
I think someone, if you're back and forth on that decision, you might have already done it, but I don't think anyone needs us to tell you that. It's been so awful. It's
well,
been
he's
the
losing.
Opposite of what
he's
want.
Losing playing time now. That's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
I mean,
he had 1 catch.
Yeah, and he led them in receiving. That's how bad the receiving core was. 1 catch for 40 yards. Mm-hmm. So
it's almost, when you look at his splits from their week 9 bye, you almost flip it for a lot of rookies, right? You look at his back half of the season, weeks 10 to 16, you expect that at the beginning, and then you expect his weeks 1 through 8 to be the end, because usually we see that bump a little bit in whether it's playing time or just getting more comfortable in this offense with these rookies. But it has been a complete opposite for Emeka Egbuka, where he had to step up for this team very quickly and very early when they had Godwin go down, when they had Mike Evans go down. And he was putting up, you had weeks 23, 12, 14, 20, 31. You looked like you got a league winner. And then all of a sudden their bye comes, even before their bye. We've only seen 20 plus fantasy points from him once since their bye. And one other time has he reached double-digit fantasy points.
They asked him to step into a massive role that they did not anticipate this quickly. If you remember, if we go back to the draft, people were like, what are the Buccaneers doing drafting a receiver in round 1 when you have Evans, Godwin, McMillan? Like, come on, what are you doing? Turned out that it worked out very well for them because Evans went down. Godwin struggled to come back from the surgery. McMillan was hurt. So they really needed him, and he did very well early. And then the connection with Baker Mayfield just has not been there. Now, part of it is Igbuka. He's had some bad drops, but Mayfield has really missed him. I mean, you brought up the stat a couple weeks ago about how a lot of his passes were not catchable throwing the way of Igbuka. So I think it's a combination of factors, and there's clearly something wrong with this Tampa team. You could see the coaches' comments, the players' body language, their reaction. Something is completely wrong with this team right now, and they are only fortunate to be in it because of that division, with no one stepping to the forefront to take control. So, yeah, I'm very worried about Tampa right now. And, yeah, Igbuka played 56% of the snaps and 64% the week before, where he was in the 80s and 90s. So he's losing playing time. You know Mike Evans is going to be getting targets. Baker's looked for Godwin in a lot of the big third down scenarios this past week. He often looked at Godwin. And then McMillan, they've talked about how they want to use him a little bit more. We saw his snap count jump from 46 to 53%. So, and they're running the ball a lot. So, yeah, it just doesn't bode well for Igbuka this week.
Yeah. It's been bad, and it's been unfortunate. Hopefully you've been able to turn to someone else, but you don't need us to tell you against Miami. And for the past, 5 weeks, you probably haven't wanted to start Emeka Egbuka here. I've got a couple questions here over on X at Valenzuela17 at Adam Ronis. But first, let's go out to the phone lines here. I see Matt on hold. Matt from Long Island. What do you got for us? Potentially, you might have scared him, Adam.
I didn't do anything. Don't blame me.
I don't know. You're bickering with Ani. Like, I just think that might be you thing. Matt, Hello? What do you got for us?
Yeah, tough decision this week because both quarterbacks are going against not so good secondaries. Who do I start between Drake May and Dak Prescott?
I've got Drake May ahead of Dak right now. I guess the only question, Adam, is are the Jets so bad that you risk not playing him in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, but if that happens, that means he put up production through 3 quarters to be enough. Fair. So, yeah, look, they're still playing for something. So I would go with Drake May as well. And he can run a little bit. Maybe if Henderson's out, maybe that gives Drake May a goal line carry.
I've got him at 3 and 4. Like, that's how close it is.
Both.
Drake May one spot ahead. So that is a tough decision because we just talked about Dak too. People can look at the Cowboys and say they're not playing for anything, but I just don't. I don't see at least Dak Prescott, going up and just giving up. It's against a bad Washington defense. Both teams again out of it for the playoffs, but I still have him at 4. If anyone's been thinking about what should I do with Dak Prescott, he's definitely in the conversation. But appreciate you calling in, Matt. We would definitely, I would go with Drake May in this one. Going for week 17. I see another question here from Maria over on X. Said, one more question for the year. I have to drop Kelsey since the whole team is super unreliable. Waiver wire options are Brenton Strange, Dalton Schultz, and Juwan Johnson. Which one would we prefer?
Juwan Johnson.
Yeah, he's my tight end 6 this week going up against Tennessee.
Look, Devon Vele is on IR, so that takes away a target. And you got Olave. We know he's going to get fed a lot. But Juwan Johnson has had a lot of good games this year. He's coming off 8 for 89 against the Jets. So, yeah, I think Johnson's probably number 2 target in that passing game.
Especially with Vele on IR, 16.9 fantasy points, 86 utilization score. He's still not in the full-time role when we were talking about, early weeks 1 through 5 or 6, if I remember correctly. But still, you like the route participation rate at 67%. And really one of the only top two options for the Saints to just go to for Tyler Shuck. So yeah, Johnson, tight end one for me this week. And if anyone's listening and looking for any tight end to pick up, he could definitely be it. I don't know if you want to go the Taysom Hill route, Adam. I've seen a couple questions on Taysom Hill, and I understand it because sometimes he can be a cheat code. I just worry, you brought this up earlier in the show, I just worry that was maybe a home game thing, probably the last one of his career, and they just wanted to send him off well. So I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't understand why they would use him now. Like, take a look at some of your other running backs. Like, why are we having him play a big role?
Yeah.
Now, again, if it was the final home game for him and you want to give him that send-off, I get that. But, like, I don't see the need to do it this week.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one. So Juwan Johnson, again, against Tennessee, my tight end 6 for the week. You guys can find those rankings at fantasylife.com. Want to talk through some Guillotine League questions? I see some coming through here as well. And just go through the most chopped players and what we should expect for week 17. We're going to break it down here. Coming up next. Ooh, vibes are immaculate today, Adam. Are you excited? Are you happy that at least Ani isn't playing you Christmas music while you're just sad and depressed because you lost a couple leagues last night? Does that make you feel any better?
No.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't. I love Ani was God.
Exactly.
No way.
Well, at least you don't have Christmas music. You weren't happy about that.
I wasn't happy about any music. That was too cheery. That was too uplifting. Yeah,
I need to. You want some sad, like little maybe on some Billie Eilish, maybe, or
I just need I need a few days to recover. That's all. Okay, I take the losses way harder than the thrill of victory.
Oh, I know you do.
It's
people are seeing that. Let's I know. It's okay. You're still playing for some championships though. So
I am, but still these losses just they're more stressful, more
I know.
Yeah, just
we'll get the
brutal.
Sad music going, Ani. Ani will cut that out for the next segment there. I just wanted to talk through. I know Guillotine Leagues, it's a few people still left in those, but I still just love playing this game and seeing who the most chopped players were in Guillotine League formats for week 16, and then how much we would, if you have any money left. I'm alive still, Adam, in 2. I need a Guillotine League victory so badly, and I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna manifest it. What did I score? 163? No, 200. Wow, I was way off. Where did I get that number? 298 fantasy points Guillotine League points over the weekend. So I need this win badly. You ready to go? I get to guess, and you told me that there are layups in here, so I'm assuming
there's
I'm gonna be just fine. Because you know why I know, Adam? They're all going to be players that I played this weekend, so I feel like I have a good gauge on who they are. So let's get started. Most chopped Guillotine League players. We go through the top 5. The top 10, I should say. I try and guess 3 of them here, and we go through how much we would spend on these guys if they were available to us. I know one has to be Amon-Ra St. Brown. No question about it for me. Is he on this list?
He is number 5.
Oh, thank goodness. I thought you were going to say no. I was happy in one league because I was facing him and Jared Goff. I was sad in another because, after his big performance, he kind of came back down to earth. So do you have a chop percentage, by the way? Do you have that in front of you?
I do. He was 37.73%.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That's a lot. I want to say Josh Jacobs too, because he had a horrible day, and I think a lot of people played him, myself included.
Number 3 on the list at 39.56%.
Look at me go. It's too bad you stopped taking count on this game, because I think I would be in the lead.
Wait a second. When we had stopped officially playing, I was up 6-3.
I don't think that's
That is absolutely true.
6-3? Really?
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
No chance. I don't know.
Yeah, look at you. You're just upset because you were losing.
You know who I was upset about too? Trey McBride. Let me go with Trey McBride.
Number 2 on the list.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. That's it, right? I did all of them. Yes.
Well, you got 3. I can't believe you don't get number 1.
Allen?
Yes, Josh Allen, number 1. 43.27%.
Okay, so was Javonte Williams there?
No, he was 11.
He was on my list. 11, so he was close though. Nico Collins.
Number 4.
Oh yeah. Those were all the people I had on my list because I figured. Is there anyone that surprises you in the top 10? That was
me, a little bit, because they didn't have like awful games. But so CeeDee Lamb was 6.
Oh, really? Okay.
Michael Wilson was 7.
Michael. Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Did
Would
have
you
the
have started
touchdown, but
Michael Wilson in a chop format?
Maybe. It depends what my other options are. But we knew Marvin Harrison was going to be limited, that he wasn't a full go.
Yeah.
That was just a weird game script for them. They just didn't have the ball as much as we're accustomed to. Because Wilson caught that touchdown where he didn't even know he caught it. They challenged it.
Yeah,
and
that was
pretty
crazy
much
catch.
it for him. He really didn't do anything else. I mean, Arizona as a whole, we mentioned McBride. I mean, that was his worst game. That's got to be his worst game of the season, I believe.
Trey McBride.
Yeah, right? It's got to be by far. Like, he's just been money every week.
Yeah, he really has been.
Elijah Higgins was the go-to tight end.
Yeah, this was his worst game of the season compared to 9.1 was his second lowest. That was all the way back week 5 against Tennessee.
Yeah, then number 8 was Travis Etienne.
Oh, okay.
Number 9, Jonathan Taylor.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, he had a touchdown. Yeah, I think he had like 16
points, 17 points. That's shocking.
And number 10 was A.J. Brown.
Oh, yeah, A.J. Brown. I feel like he's on that list every other week. What about, was Saquon Barkley on there?
No, Barkley was, that looks like 14th.
Okay, wow, he's still up. A.J. Brown I'm surprised about, though, because he had 18.5
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that was definitely a surprising one.
Maybe it's one where just the team was bad.
Well, because, I think right now, you're down to a few teams. So, like, almost every team is stacked that you're going to just have these weird statistical scenarios where those guys just happen to be on eliminated teams, where I don't think there's anything to it. It was just a random.
So I guess if you have Michael Wilson, this is more of a fantasy question, then we'll get back to guillotine leagues, but 13.2 fantasy points against the Falcons. Target share, though, makes you look. If you have him for week 17, are you benching him now after what we saw with Marvin Harrison Jr. back? His target share was 11%. That's a huge fall for Michael Wilson.
They play Cincinnati.
Well,
that could be a
true.
shootout. Well, I think, it's in Cincinnati, right? Though I think we have to look at weather. I think that game's Cincinnati.
It's a little cold. Yeah, it is.
Or no, if it could be some.
It is in Cincinnati.
Yeah, so that would be the only thing. If not, we could. I mean, the total's 53.5. Oh wow, the weather right now says 53.
What? 53 degrees? Balmy.
On Sunday. Yeah.
Why didn't I get that when I lived there? It was like 1 or 2 degrees. What the heck?
And a total of 53.5. So because of that, that would lead me to maybe play him this week. Or I'm not saying he's a must start, but I don't think you're quick to send him to the bench. I just think that was a weird game for them. He played 86% of the snaps. Marvin Harrison was at 51. Mm-hmm. So he was out there a lot. They didn't have the ball a lot, and they ran a lot more than I thought in that game.
I have him as a wide receiver, too, in fantasy, and I don't think if you're in guillotine leagues, I don't know if I'm spending money on him.
No, I wouldn't. When you look at this list, if you're going to tell me that other receivers like Nico Collins, St. Brown, especially if he's healthy, CeeDee Lamb, definitely with that matchup, and even A.J. Brown against Buffalo. I think there might be weather in that one. But again, I don't worry about the weather for the most part. We go through this every week. I talk about it on Sunday morning shows.
You do.
Like, everyone has been panicking about like multiple games this year, and for the most part, none of them have been severely impacted. So, especially now on Tuesday, I really can't give you anything on weather because we know how it goes. I mean, the weather, you could see a weather forecast it's happened to me many times. I walk every day. I'm like, all right, I'm going to take my walk at 4 o'clock. I check in at 3:30. All of a sudden, the storm's rolling in. I'm like, that was not there before. So, the weather changes so much that you can't worry about it. I mean, it is showing like 32 degrees and maybe a chance of snow in Buffalo on Sunday. But remember, snow. If it's only snow and not wind, that's good for the offense. Offensive players talk about it all the time. They know where they're going. Defense doesn't. So I'd still take A.J. Brown over Wilson and guillotine.
You think Kyle Pitts is going to be in a lot of guillotine league winning lineups?
Yes.
This year?
Well,
same with fantasy?
Yeah, he's got to be. I mean, McBride obviously. McBride's got to be up there. Kittle. Yeah. And then I would say, sure. Pitts Fannin. Yeah, I could see it. I could see Pitts being on a lot of winning teams.
He's trying to get that money, right? He's in the
free agent.
He's going to be a free agent. I wonder where he ends up going. You think they re-sign him? You think they try?
I don't know.
It's going to be an interesting market for the tight ends. And this incoming quarterback class isn't very good either. So I think that opens up a lot of questions. That's why it's going to be interesting what the Saints do with Tyler Shuck and everywhere else, because it's not necessarily the strongest class. But again, that was the Guillotine League most chopped players. Anyone that you would spend all your money on, would it be a Josh Allen? If he was out there for you, you said he was chopped in over 40% of leagues. Is he someone that, I know a lot of people in Guillotine Leagues right now have probably the best quarterbacks they can, but Josh Allen feels like he's the only guy that we would mention here as a quarterback that you can pick up.
Yeah, just worried about the foot. I would say the guy that I would spend on is McBride. He's going up against the Bengals in a projected shootout. So I know McBride had that disappointing game, but I cannot see that happening again against the Bengals.
Of course, the 1 week that he gets some eliminated, myself included, and then he's going up against Cincinnati the next week. What a waste if he is not in the fantasy championships. But I agree with you there. Trey McBride, Josh Allen, guys that we would spend on for Guillotine League formats. FantasyLife.com. If you're still alive in those Guillotine Leagues, you can go over there. We've got our rankings updated every single week for that as well. So make sure you go and check that out. See how much you should spend on some of these guys to get that championship as well. 2 leagues, Adam, I'm alive. I've never made it this far, so I'm ready to go. I want the championship.
Got to get at least one.
I know, right? What are my odds? Well, I don't know. We say that and it's fantasy football, so I really have to work the waiver wire today and see what's out there. I want to, speaking of, continue on and going through Stock Watch. I want to see what your expectations are, Adam, for maybe some of these players going into Week 17. Stock trending up, stock trending down. We're going to break down these names here coming up next. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to have Xfinity. All the games all in one place. And here's what you get when you watch sports with Xfinity. You get the Sports Zone. So that means every pro football game and over 1,000 college games, highlights and alerts all in one place. You also get the multi-view. So that means you can be in up to 4 stadiums at once. The Xfinity Fan View gives you live scores, odds, and stats all in one place and personalized to you and the teams that you actually like and care about. You also get enhanced 4K and that voice remote where you can just say football. Imagine all your football all in one place. Easy. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Are we going to race? Should we just do that as a consolation since some of our teams didn't make it to the championship?
Well, I guess whenever we see each other next, whenever that is going to be, we'll have to have that race.
2 grown adults running down the street.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. No, nothing. It's totally fine.
I mean, maybe people will start betting too. We can set lines.
Ooh, should we collect money? Yeah.
Yes, we should.
I think I would be the underdog though, to be totally fair.
You think so?
I know my limits. Yeah, for sure. Right? What if it's a $40 hot dog? Whatever. All right. We don't have to go this far. It was 2 hot dogs and a calzone. That's
motivation for Kendall then. You know, that could tip the odds a little bit.
You would definitely be favored. No question.
Okay.
But see, underdog, I think I could beat you. I'm still
You're younger though, so you should beat me. You're younger.
I don't know if I've got shorter legs though. Like you've got the better stride.
How do you know? You've never seen me run.
What are you well, I'm just assuming. You've talked about how great you are at running in softball. I'm just assuming.
I'm definitely quick at my age for sure. A lot of people are like, damn.
So how far is this? Like, I'm not doing a mile. I'm not.
No, not a mile. A mile? What are we doing here? We're probably,
then I would
what, 40 yards?
Okay, that's fine. We should probably find a field or something. I don't think we should.
Yeah, a field, grass. We can do this.
Streets of New York. Just trying to do that. Okay, we'll set that up for sure. What are we doing here? Stock watch. That's what.
Yeah, my stock is up. Yours is down.
What? Okay, whatever. Now it's just getting personal.
Boom.
I think I would win. I would bet on myself to.
Oh, you just said you're the underdog.
No, I know, but I would bet on myself to win.
Of course you should. If you don't bet on yourself to win, then no one's going to bet on you.
Exactly. Are you betting on Ashton Genty to win you a league, though, this week? You see what I did there, though? Man.
Yeah, I did.
Super Bowl form. There we go. Ashton Genty, Las Vegas Raiders. Again, we're going through stock watch. Players trending up, maybe some players trending down. Listen, in a tough matchup against Houston, I know a lot of people probably benched Ashton Genty, and sometimes we get things right and sometimes we get that wrong, and that one was definitely wrong. 31.8 fantasy points. That was his highest total since week 4 against the Bears, where he got 33 fantasy points. He saw a season high 24 carries. Everything went right for Ashton Genty. And so I really do hope that most started him, but I know in a few leagues I looked at some as well because it was the Houston Texans defense and they weren't giving up anything to running backs. So Man, what do you think for week 17 with Ashton Genty and what we saw not only with him, but with the Raiders? They're going up against the Giants. Like, this is one matchup where you can tell yourself he could be a playoff winner for you these last 2 weeks.
Yeah, the matchup. The Giants are just terrible, or allowed the third most fantasy points to running backs per game. And this is a game that no one wants to win because the number one pick is on the line, but players don't think like that. So it's really what the coaches do. Like, you could see, I mean, the Giants came out and just said, we're going to run the football the entire game. I mean, really? I mean, there was no pass attempts. So the Giants did open as favorites, as we talked about yesterday. It is flipped. Now Vegas is 1.5 point favorites. But yeah, this is a matchup for Genty where he could go off. So I would say he's got to be, I'd say a borderline RB1 this week.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean, for real, like,
1000%.
do you feel better about him or Bucky Irving right now?
Oh, him.
Right?
I've actually got, and this might be a little bit too high, again, early rankings, but I actually have Ashton Genty RB 11 this week.
Yeah,
and I've got Bucky
right.
at RB 15.
I think you would play Genty over Javonte Williams this week.
For sure. Yeah, I've got Javonte at 14.
Yeah, so I think he's like a borderline RB1 this week. I know that's crazy, but you look at the matchup, and there's no reason why he can't go off. And he should get heavy volume as well. So I know most people, there's probably a handful of teams. There's always exceptions, right? That maybe had Genty and Meta, and they probably benched him this past week. And
I mean, I wouldn't have blamed anyone, to be honest.
I wouldn't have either against the Texans with the way that offense looked. I mean, Genty had 12, 5, and 7.5 in the previous 3 games. But the whole thing with Genty is, this is not on him. This is the Vegas offensive line that has just absolutely destroyed him this year. And you see when he gets a little bit of room what he can do. And by his second highest rushing yards of the season last week against the Texans.
Yeah, it's definitely one where we wouldn't have. I know that we had some start-sit questions with Ashton Genty, and it was a tougher call. But this week, again, he's my RB 10 to start off the rankings. Things change as the week goes on. But you mentioned Bucky Irving. That has to be someone that's trending down for you. It's his utilization score has gone down. He's averaged 11.9 points. It's just since he returned from injury, I should say. I mean, what did you see? I know it wasn't a committee, but Sean Tucker was involved a little bit here as well. He has to be trending down.
Yeah, because again, Sean Tucker's getting most of the goal line carries. I think Rachaad White has one in the last few weeks. Tucker has the rest of them. And mentioned it yesterday, there was a play where Bucky Irving had like a 12-yard run down to the 1. And I was like, come on, leave him in the game. Don't bring Tucker in. They left him in the game, except that they threw the pass into the end zone to Mike Evans for the touchdown. So they probably were like, yeah, we have no intention of giving Bucky the ball here. Yeah, you can stay on the field and watch as we throw this touchdown to Evans. So the one thing with Bucky is he's still getting massive volume. It's like between 16 and 19 touches in the 4 games since he's returned. He had a touchdown in each of the first 2, but since then, he hasn't gotten any touchdowns. And even this past week, he didn't even have a target. So that's the biggest problem. But again, I repeat it. Like, how many people can bench a running back that's getting between 16 and 20 touches per game? I know they're not the most appetizing touches right now because there's no goal line carries and there's minimal usage in the passing game. So that sucks. But I think you can't put them lower than like RB2 at this point. But it sucks. Yeah, it sucks if you have him because you're like, do I really want to play this guy when I got to watch Sean Tucker come in every time? Like, you're going to need him to break a run outside the 15, 20-yard line to get into the end zone, and you got to hope that he's on the field where Baker's under pressure and just checks it down to him because there weren't many design passes for him either. So, yeah, this is brutal because I think most people who have Bucky Irving, they've been waiting patiently all season long. He finally comes back, and you're like, all right, I have a running back that's going to make a difference down the stretch, and it's not happening.
Yeah, and Sean Tucker, too, just to give you more maddening stats, 7 of 8 carries inside the 5-yard line over the last 4 games. 7 of 8. he's been less, Bucky Irving's been less involved in the passing game, 6% target share. So that's all. It's just all trending down for him, unfortunately. I've got some more names that I want to go through stock watch, seeing if they're up, seeing if they're trending down, and more of your questions over there on X as well. I see him coming in at K Valenzuela 17, at Adam Ronis over there. I did see one that said we should both come to Seattle for a Seahawks game. The fan zone has a 40-yard dash. Maybe we do that.
Yeah, I just responded to them asking who their money's on.
It's me. It's me. 1,000%. Everyone's an underdog.
Oh, yeah? So what?
Actually, I think I'm a favorite now.
Oh, you're the favorite? Oh, what is this? The Raiders-Giants game where it's flipping?
What? This has actually turned in the last 10 minutes, and I'm actually the favorite, I think.
Oh, really? What are you? Minus what? Minus
120.
Minus 120?
Yeah.
And what am I?
Like
plus 120?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that's fair, right? No?
I don't think it's fair,
but
hey.
All right.
And look, if it's going to boost your confidence, you could put it at minus 200 for yourself. Go ahead.
No. We still need to get value on some of these picks. We're doing more stock watch and waiver wire names that you need to know here coming up next. We don't always agree on who to start or sit or who could win in a race, but we are here to help you guys with your decisions.
It's me.
What are you talking about? It's me. It's not you.
Yes, it is. I will win.
All right. Whatever you want to tell yourself. At Valenzuela 17, at Adam Ronis over there on X for any questions coming in. I see one here that just came in saying, where do we rank and what are our thoughts on Tony Pollard this championship week? Is he a start or sit over Javonte Williams? So I will say the one better thing about Javonte Williams is we're going to know sooner rather than later with Javonte. So if you have Javonte, this is probably a best case scenario for you because they are the first game on Christmas morning. So Christmas after, whatever, wherever you are, Commanders taking on the Cowboys. So we're going to know sooner rather than later about Javonte, but I mean, Tony Pollard, it's kind of come out of nowhere, and Adam was joking a little bit, but it really wasn't a joke when you were like, hey, you haven't brought up Tony Pollard and what he's been doing these past couple of weeks. 10.2 last week, not necessarily amazing, but 21 carries, 102 yards, 18.2, and then 28.1. So that's his last three. They're going up against New Orleans. I don't know if Javonte's playing, I would play Javonte obviously ahead of Tony Pollard, but if he's not good to go, I mean, I guess you could have worse options than what Tony Pollard's been giving you to end the season.
Yeah, I think you just want to see what reports out of Dallas. They're not going to practice much this week because it's a short week, but again, Javonte has been bothered by this shoulder injury. He only played 29% of the snaps in week 15. This week it was 57%. Malik Davis was up to 34%. Javonte only had 9 carries. And you could see early in the game he was bothered by it. So that's a tough decision, but I could see going in a different direction. I guess the Monday practice report had him as limited, but I would see, because again, this is a scenario where like people are asking about Dak Prescott in Dallas. I don't see Dak Prescott leaving this game early. Again,
no,
he's going to play. It's a divisional game. It's nationally televised. He wants to go out there and produce. So I'm not worried about him. Javonte, I am, just because he's hurt. He's dealing with a bad shoulder, the stinger that he had from a couple weeks ago. So he only had 11 touches this past week, and that's a guy I could see not pushing. And maybe they go, all right, you know what, let's give Malik Davis an opportunity. So that would be the one I'm worried about of anyone on Dallas. Not worried about Dak, Pickens, Lamb. Not worried about them.
If you're looking at someone too on the other side of this game, that maybe you only have Javonte or you need to pick someone up. I don't mind Chris Rodriguez, right? We've mentioned him before, 30% rostered. These are more desperation plays. He missed week 15 with a groin injury. He returned week 16. He was the primary early down back that we saw 15 carries from him, 63 yards, a touchdown against the Eagles. This Dallas Cowboys team has gotten better. But you know, we're just going to have to see about, you know, what Quentin Williams looks like. He missed week 16 with a concussion neck injury. I think Rodriguez offers a little bit here in full point PPR leagues, or less in full point PPR leagues, I should say, because he doesn't offer a lot as a pass catcher, but he's someone to look at. I just don't know, Adam, if I'm fully recommending a Raheem Sanders for the Browns. I just don't love it. I think I would more so want to go pick up Emmanuel Wilson, because if we don't see Josh Jacobs, you know Emmanuel Wilson's going to go out there and get the full workload for him, but there's just not a lot of running backs this week that you can go and rely on.
Yeah, it's tough. Hopefully you're set at the running back position. Maybe if you had Jacobs, hopefully you have Wilson as well as the backup. But yeah, there really isn't much because Cleveland, Quinshon Judkins going down, but there's really nothing that you feel great about here. It's a bad offense to begin with, and it's not like Judkins was going off and he was getting massive volume. So there's no like one-for-one replacement here. I would feel better if Dylan Sampson was out there, but we just don't know. He's missed 2 weeks with the hand injury. He's looked good at times this year, but if it's going to be Sanders and Williams, I would rather stay away from it if they're going to go that way.
Yeah, I agree with you on this one. I see a question here, another one about Dak. Can I rely on the Cowboys playing Dak the whole game? We kind of just hit this, but I would say yes. Like the question is between Dak or Sam Darnold. I'm not recommending Sam Darnold in any situation. I know it's the Panthers. It's just I don't think we need to worry too much about Dak coming out of this game.
Yeah, they already said he's playing. Now, maybe week 18 is when you worry a little bit more that they could pull some guys early in a meaningless game, but it's Washington. It's a divisional game. It's on national TV on Christmas. They're going to want to play. They want to put up numbers. So I'm not worried about it. And look, if somehow that does happen, I would be surprised. So I would just roll with Dak. The total's 50.5. It's a really bad Washington defense. So, Dak can put up big numbers this week.
Last question here I see from Timmy saying, quick question for the week. Should I pick up Strange or keep Parkinson? I've got them one spot ahead, one spot between each other. I've got Brenton Strange at 12 and Colby Parkinson at 13.
Yeah, I know Parkinson disappointed last week, especially with Stafford putting up all those numbers.
There. Yeah, I was going to say all the numbers were there for him too.
It was the right play. It didn't work out. I know people hate to hear it, but he was a good play last week.
Yeah, it just didn't work out. All of our rankings, though, are at fantasylife.com. I'm going to update mine later today. So that's where you can go and check everything out. Same with our just utilization report, our projections, and, of course, that Fantasy Life newsletter. So make sure you keep up on the injury reports. We appreciate everyone hanging out with us here today. And we will see you same time here tomorrow. Good luck, everyone, and we'll see you then.